Today, Loading Ready Run continues our laser-like focus on content with I couldn't even finish the line.
You okay, Paul? You want to try again? We can start over. I'll cut it all out. No one has to know.
No, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Couldn't even finish it's just... it turns out you can actually... Like, a laser can actually be quite widely focused.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing.
And if you get the right pickups.
It's not... We're laser focused, but not focused like a focused laser.
Mm-hmm. More like a round ring laser. After you pick up enough speed things, and then you get like options, and then you use the round ring laser to clear out all the enemies in front of you.
All I'm getting out of this is that we're supposed to be issued a laser, and I haven't gotten mine, and I'd like to submit a complaint.
You know, Paul, I think you're right. I think this actually is just coffee.
Let me taste.
All of you.
Can you grab that?
Let's all share a disease.
You were told that it would be hot chocolate?
Well, that's what I thought it was.
That's not hot
Paul,
chocolate.
you drink coffee.
That's gross.
So you drink coffee. Tell me if this is actually just coffee.
Why? Why would you put that in your mouth? Gross.
No, I don't think that's... it's got some, like, coffee...
Well, it's supposed to have, like, caramel flavor as well, but...
No,
Yeah,
I disagree with that assessment.
It's not good, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. What it is was sent to us by somebody in Australia several years ago. It was Instant Allen's Fantales.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's instant, but... Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you didn't wait for it.
No.
Yeah, like, it's good that it's instant.
It just kind of came about.
Hey, everybody. That you just heard was part of the laser-focused
We're so
content
focused here.
that is Loading Ready Run and this show, which is ChillPoint, show where we just hang out and we talk about all the video game news that happened this last week.
I do want to point out that is not from the mail time that went up. It's not even from a mail time that's been recently recorded. This is from a very old mail time that you would have seen years ago, because we just put stuff on the shelf and forget it exists.
Mm-hmm. I got some that says Jaffas as well. I guess I could have some of that if I wanted to.
It's like orange. It's like Jaffa cake flavored.
I guess.
Not chocolate. Anyway,
it's in an orange package, so I assume it also tastes like oranges. But yeah.
So yeah, this episode of CheckPoint. Wait, I haven't done the part where I tell you that this show is the show where we're talking about video game news and also about yesterday's episode of CheckPoint.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the comments for yesterday's episode of CheckPoint, the two main things that I have gathered is one, people would be into having our branded coasters
as pets, yeah.
For whatever people use coasters for.
Mm-hmm.
The variety of different coasters. Someone said silicone. Someone else said that they needed to absorb moisture, which is kind of the opposite of what silicone can do.
I have many thoughts on coasters.
Someone else said cardboard, which I don't know why we would make them out of cardboard specifically.
Yeah, but I want to make them out of cork.
That's not cardboard.
The coasters that I have are just like those thick plain cork.
Yeah.
Coasters that I quite like that style.
Yeah, they get stained and whatnot, and I know that sucks, but at least that's like way more sustainable an option.
And also, your coasters getting stained is kind of the point of coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, if you've got like fancy special coasters, maybe you don't want to use. Anyway,
and
I'm just sitting here.
Takeaway.
I'm just sitting here putting my tea down on the playmat on the table here.
I have a glass coaster with a moose on it.
We sell playmats on the store.
This has
if you need to put your shit on something.
Exactly. Think of how many cups of coffee you can put on a playmat.
Mm-hmm.
So just buy one of our playmats, and then if you need more than one large coaster, you just cut it up into several pieces.
Cut my merch into pieces.
And then please post a picture of that on Twitter, because I want to see you do it.
I mean, neoprene coasters isn't a terrible idea.
What was the... it's true. What was the second thing?
don't want to do coaster cat.
The second thing is that people were very quick to point out
Persona.
that Persona
Yeah, I knew that was
has
gonna
had
happen.
stuff happen in their 25th anniversary, but it's been disappointing.
Okay.
Which
so
is like, you're wrong, but also I'm still disappointed, so...
stuff like a lot of merch, that was true. Cafe, but in Japan, so not really affecting for us.
And they re-released the game for PC.
Persona, well, so it's also on Switch, but on the PC version, because it's Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, I think it's the full title.
Yeah.
It got rollback netcode on
I
PC,
see.
but not on the Switch version. And it just came out.
I just like, in the episode, Graham is like, there was some stuff, but it was kind of disappointing. And then people in the comments are like, you're wrong! It was disappointing, but not for the reason you're thinking. It was disappointing they did other stuff that was
It's a
disappointing.
fighting game, so it's one of the spin-off titles, and therefore it's exciting to some people who are really into that section. But I think Kathleen specifically would be more mainline interested, and so that's not.
So
I
maybe,
believe they're supposed to be making kind of an announcement like once a month.
yeah. So maybe like over the summer or something, we'll finally have the like Kathleen's Persona 25th anniversary roundup.
Yeah, it might just have to happen at the end. I'm assuming the
when we
last
actually know.
announcement will be the really exciting one.
Right.
A super fucking short story,
Right. Which if you're gonna have like 12 announcements over a year, I would want the last one to be exciting, and not to start with that wind up.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's okay. You don't have to buy the merch.
So, but let's talk about the stuff we were actually able. There was actually enough content to make a story out of.
Hooray!
Although to be fair, yeah, we can make a story out of very little content.
This was a light week.
Starting with Graham's story about the. Oh yeah, by the way, GDC is going on right now, which is why it's kind of a light week. Because as we always talk about with conventions and things, that it's like the news that comes out of first thing is things tend to go a little quiet because all the developers and journalists are at the convention. But then also the news that comes out of conventions is like, this game has been announced, which is not really useful for CheckPoint.
Well, yeah, and I mean the interesting stuff that comes out of GDC, literally, some of it doesn't come out for like a year because they do put
Right.
a lot of their talks in special subscription things for a while.
So and so did this talk. This game is getting a new release. Activision Blizzard is having yet another sexual harassment lawsuit. Lots of stuff getting announced at GDC.
Was that a GDC specific?
Well, I don't know, but it's
I mean,
happening
there wasn't
during
like a panel at GDC.
No. That'd be a hell of a thing. Wow.
Yeah, no kidding.
The problem is they were able to like pre-book the panel. They're like, there'll probably be something to talk about.
Yeah,
this panel.
exactly.
But anyway, so for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, which
Have you seen the poster art for that?
I know.
Oh, it's so good.
The poster art where they're replicating the box art.
Just like hits me right in my nostalgic heart.
Yeah. I actually quite liked the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
It was
and
decent.
For all, by all sort of accounts, they seem to be continuing the same sort of, being kind of silly with it.
Finally get Tails. That's all I care about.
And Knuckles.
Knuckles is also good, but Tails is the best. The end. This has been my TED Talk.
And but Microsoft is doing a special edition Xbox Series S, where you get a special Xbox with cool drawings on it.
The S is for Sonic.
And 2 fluffy controllers. The controllers have like faux fur in blue and red on them, and it's gonna get so matted.
No.
Like do you have to comb your controller?
Like a My Little Pony kind of?
Yeah. You have to like make sure get the tangles out of your controller.
Because I don't know if that stuff is really absorbent.
So the thing, like somebody had said in chat, you make a good point, because somebody had said in comments rather, they'd been like, oh God, can you imagine all the red and blue dye that'll be coming off that and getting onto your hands? And I'm like, No, I can't, because modern
It's
color
all like
fastness,
synthetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's synthetic, that's
it's
actually
not-
part of the fiber itself.
It's probably not going to come off on your hands. If it is, it's a really cheap synthetic. But it hands sweat.
Yeah.
And it's like saying, do you want to put gloves on in your living room?
Also,
And is that if that's gonna be absorbent, or is it gonna make your hands even more sweaty? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
like literally the defining characteristic of the echidna, which is what Knuckles is that it is a spiny anteater.
Yeah,
That's
it has
true.
no
He's
fur.
not
And
furry.
and a hedgehog
Also not furry.
spines.
Yeah.
Also not a furry.
So one, they don't have
So-
fur, and two, if this was accurate, it would be like a controller covered in spines.
Also, why are you doing a Sonic and Knuckles controller? Sonic 2 is Sonic and Tails. Sonic and Knuckles doesn't even come out until after Sonic 3.
And Tails is totally furry.
Yes. Appropriate.
It could
at
just
that
be
point.
like his tail or something.
Yeah. God, Finji.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure they tweeted asking where they could get controllers.
Why couldn't we make a Tunic controller? It's like
But
you
seriously, why not a Fox controller?
Oh man, yeah, Foxmar, your emotes are gonna be in super high demand soon.
Start advertising. Come to his channel and subscribe so you can get used to those emotes.
I would also like to point. I would just like to do a little tooting of my own horn here. And show you. So the graphic for this, for the story to work for this, Graham didn't want to reveal the fluffy controllers immediately, right? He would be like, Xbox is doing this special edition Sonic thing, and we show it, but he wanted to joke about that their controllers are furry, and so we needed a picture of the Xbox Series S special edition thing without the controllers, which doesn't actually exist. Because the controllers are the cool part. All the promo pictures of it have the controllers either like in people's hands or in front of it. And so I actually made this image. This is a composite image by using because the image that's on the Xbox Series S is a existing
It's from the movie poster, isn't it?
promotional image
Yeah.
for things. So I took that existing promo image, color matched it to the photograph of the thing, and like skewed it to the right angle so it lines up with what was actually there, and used that to paint over. So it's actually the same Xbox as is used here.
Yeah.
That's the same picture of the Xbox.
Just with you edited.
But so I
controllers
had to slice out, take out the controllers and stuff here.
So if you see people using that previous image online, they probably did the same thing because they would have had to have it at like a larger resolution or whatever anyway. But Paul maybe did it first.
Actually, to be honest, I think the best thing about this is the ring around the grill there.
No, that is
And I
very
That looks
nice
actually pretty
detail.
cool.
I hope that's actually like metallic gold like applique that will shine and not just like we printed this to look like a golden ring, so it's faded already on some corners and shit, and it's like no matter how you adjust it, it always looks the same. So yeah.
The speaking of special edition, I don't know if I've mentioned, but I actually have my Xbox 360 is a special edition Gears of War 3 Xbox 360 because it was given to us as because we did a like Xbox Game with Fame thing.
Okay.
And they gave us all Xbox 360s, and the only ones that were at the store at the time were the like Gears of War 3 special
Wait,
edition.
you had to go into a store with a redemption voucher and be like, please give me a free Xbox.
No, they
360?
like ordered them from Walmart or whatever.
I've heard so many people who are like, oh yeah, I have a special edition of this thing. You'll be like, why would you have that? And they're like, because I wanted one and it was the only one they had at the store.
But what I love about it though is that the Gears of War 3 and the Star Wars special edition Xbox 360s are unique among Xbox 360s. They have an extra speaker in them. There's an extra port there's an extra speaker connected to the motherboard. There must be a little header on the motherboard for it.
Yeah.
And there's an extra little speaker so that when you eject when you hit the eject button, it goes, and the Star Wars one goes like, or something. That's like some Star Wars noise. And the Gears of War one goes, and that because there's no speaker inside the Xbox 360 to make noise normally, they had to add this extra component.
I love this idea. That's such a great idea.
And it's like it's like built into like the firmware of the Xbox that it does that.
I laugh at that, but I if it was for a thing I liked and cared about, I would love that.
I mean,
Anyway.
when your Switch is on and you plug your controllers in one at a time, and it does that little thing from the side where it shows you the color of the one you just plugged into whatever side it is. I'm like,
it's very nice.
I like that as a gimmick. That's a great little additional.
I think it's Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you put in different colored Joy-Cons, your Switch at home has those Joy-Cons.
Oh, nice.
But I can't remember if that's true or not.
I know that happens sometimes. Like that there is they decided to make a little like part of the Joy-Con connection system, whatever, reports the color of the Joy. Like that's a piece of information that's reported to the system. And it's actually used sometimes. All right, what else we got going on here?
A normal story.
Right. Yes. The Barbie, was it
Groom and Glam dog pups.
Groom and Glam Pups.
Yeah.
Which is essentially just about that this game sold for $1,600.
Yeah. And that it probably didn't need to, but I think it's because it was actually like rated and ranked. It was like,
right.
It's like this is this X quality condition, so it's like I will pay that money.
And it was like still in its packaging,
probably, and yeah. It might have maybe sold for a little too much. If you just wanted to get a copy, you can still get a copy for $200, $300 on some eBay things.
But then you get the vastly inferior European or Australian versions, and not the Canadian version that has the French mixed up.
Yeah.
Which you say that, and yet I had a friend who would literally try to buy all of his video games in the States because it didn't have the extra French on the thing, and because of that, they got like a little bit extra space for photos, and so he deemed that it looked nicer.
Sometimes there'd be like an extra photo or something, really?
Yeah, because on a lot of the backs of video games they have the like warnings and legalese and stuff, but we also have to have it in French as well, so it's got to be bigger.
The text is always smaller as well, and whatever else.
Although sometimes they just do it with like an insert now, as opposed to actually having like the double
a two-sided thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's great because like when I heard about that, I was like, what? Wait, if you're collecting these because you're like these ones look nicer or whatever, I'm like, yeah, but the Canadian ones would technically be worth more because it's a smaller market, so they have to print less of them to begin with. So there's less of them on the market, so you're actually getting a limited edition of a limited edition.
I'm guessing it was not like a huge seller in the first place.
No, probably not. Like that. Well, that's what kills me, right? I'm like, most Barbie games will end up in the $10 bargain bin, and yet for some reason, this is one that they probably didn't make a ton of, but somebody recognized, like, wait, there's only so many. This is the only place this game came out. And if you're making a North American collection of 3DS games, and this is the 3DS version of North American, it's like they wouldn't have made many of these, huh? And now you have this like the race is on to try to get these, which I'm fine with.
I was saying to Beach that I was almost tempted to like we could bring in like the green screen fabric and put that behind him, and then like halfway through the story have like a Canadian flag flapping in the breeze come in behind him as he's getting more and more patriotic.
What I do think is interesting is that with that game, this was the person's like last game they needed that was released.
Oh, to complete their
collection. Except it isn't. It's actually because, but this is all the release games. There's one more game apparently that's coming out for the 3DS that has yet to be released. And once that hits the market and is distributed in North America, they have to buy that one, and then then they're actually done. So right now they own 418 games. Barbie gives them to 419, and when this last game comes out, there will have been in the full North American collection 420.
Perfect.
Never the sex number.
Yes, never print anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to point out, because I saw a comment about it, and we have we're being online. We have an international audience. The line, "This can only be found here in our home and native land." That's from our national anthem.
Oh, did people ask about that?
Somebody kind of was like, that might be a little hinky, and it's kind of like, that's literally our national anthem.
Thought that saying native land might be.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
mean, you're right. It is a little weird that
it's like one, it's part of the national anthem. Two, that is not what we call First Nations people in Canada.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, that is part of our national anthem. That is the thing Beach is alluding to there, and I thought about it, and I was like, right, we kind of know the American
land of the free and home of the brave.
We hear it quite a bit in our own media. We know
without even meaning to.
We know our own anthem, but other people around the world might not necessarily know.
Yeah, the only words I know out of the French national anthem, for example, are. I mean, that's the only words I know from their anthem.
I mean, I don't actually know the words to the American anthem, as most Americans don't know the word. Like,
I think they can all scream and the rocket's red glare.
Other than the like, "Oh, say, can you see?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bombs bursting in air. It's like, it's so violent.
Sorry, I love that Eddie Izzard has a great bit where he's talking about people who can't remember the national anthem. And he's saying the important thing to do is just look really patriotic and continually confirm and deny things. You go, "No, that's true. Yes.
Oh.
No."
we had to sing the national anthem at the beginning of every school day up till about 4 or 5 before they cut that practice out.
It's also undergone a couple of modifications, right? Like in school, I remember singing the part where it goes, "God keep our land glorious and free," and then at some point they were like, well, actually they wanted to change it to, "Oh, Canada, glorious and free." They wanted to remove the God part because they're like, we shouldn't really have an exhortation to God that's a little exclusionary. But that never caught on because so many people from like the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, because we all learned the anthem and you sing it in school, like you say, until like all the way through grade 5, grade 6, and it's just like, you all do that, so you all know it, but we've changed it since then. We've changed it to like something else as well, too. We have changed it,
but people get really caught up on like, oh, you can't change a thing that you made up.
Yeah,
I made it up. We can change it.
I feel like that's less like you shouldn't change it, and more, I just don't remember that you changed it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what the words are.
I haven't. I mean, I was in. As I've said before, I was in French immersion, so I learned it in French.
Nice.
And we had to sing it every day in French. But of course, the French version of the Canadian national anthem, which is not a direct translation. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
More religious, actually, because Quebec tends to be.
But
the other thing, though, is that it's fairly advanced French. Not that advanced, but it's like more advanced than like grade 2 and 3 French immersion kids learn.
Yeah.
So I learned it like phonetically.
Yes.
So I never actually, like, most of it I didn't actually know what it meant. I just was singing it phonetically. Anyway.
Speaking of French, we are going to come back to the French thing in a second. Nudie Newts points out they changed "in all our sons" command, which is funny because I learned it as "in all thy sons" command.
And it's in all of us command.
Yes, it's the new thing. So thank you, Nudie Newts. But it also, somebody's like, wait, so same as the States, you guys had to sing it in the morning and then you have to take the pledge? And it's like, you have to take a pledge. Yes. We, for a long time, had to say the Lord's Prayer. That was something that did not stick very well.
We didn't do that at our school.
In my school, we did, is why I'm saying we had to do that. And at a certain point, they're like, we should maybe stop doing that.
We did "O Canada," then "God Save the Queen."
Really?
Oh,
wow.
Really?
Usually that was mostly at like assemblies and stuff. Anyway, I'm actually curious. There's the whole thing with the card is stamped with like the USA as part of the UPC code or whatever the code on it. Is Are all Canadian? Like,
Yes.
is there a Canadian code?
No,
It's
no.
all
USA is what they use for the North American
in
edition.
North America, right?
Yeah. Which sucks because it means that I mean
North America, which is basically USA.
yeah, and I like fucking hate this because it's like if you release something in like the Asian market, right? Like the Korean version, I have a Korean copy of a game that actually has a KOR on it, and I'm like,
Yes.
I don't think that Korea must be that much bigger a market than like any other kind of the ones in East Asia. Like it's like the Japanese market, obviously very big, and you have the JPN and whatever. But it's like I would assume that a lot of the other ones in East Asia that you'd have like a single code for. But I thought Korea would have been included in that. To see that Korea had their own code, I was like, boy, that feels weird that they get their own country code for that ID. Canada's not allowed to have one, but what that does mean is it means it's a lot easier to distribute the one that just says USA on it to all these places.
Yeah, it's a language thing.
Yeah. Or in like an edition, like sometimes the European edition and the North American edition is actually different, or has different languages or whatever. Whereas the Canadian and the American one are almost always the same if it's actually released in America.
Yeah. I would thank the chat to not be condescending to me. Just gonna ask that. So and the French stuff that was on the box, pointing it out for the dozens of people in. It's great. It was another trap for people who don't watch the whole video before commenting.
I don't think anybody too much locked into it before.
There were two, I think.
I saw about 8 comments from people who are like, "Hey, did you realize that those were swapped?" And they get to the end, they're like, "Oh my god!"
There were 2 people who edited or responded that, and then there were a bunch of people who just didn't edit or respond that.
Yeah, I'd seen. I thought I saw more than that.
And I appreciate that people who did comment on it were like, it's funny that B's just doing this.
Yes.
Not that they thought you got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They saw because because you can see the graphic that it's wrong in the graphic. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Gran Turismo. So the story here was not actually the Gran Turismo. Now, Gran Turismo 7 isn't the first one with microtransactions, but it does have not only apparently originally when it first came out, its microtransactions were actually quite good. You were earning quite a bit of money in game. In fact, possibly people were maybe they were too easy in the sense that you could get a supercar after on your first day.
But that's what I thought the whole point is.
I don't really care if other people
but then
they fast in a video game.
But then they did this update that really
screwed.
Yeah, really cut out the amount of money you gain. And I feel like that's one of those things where it's you can give people more, right? But giving people but you can never going back is always bad, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can. It's like raising the price on something or anything like that, right? You can always just start out too harsh and then back it off.
Yeah.
But starting out easy and then making it you get less money per race.
Yeah.
That's always gonna rub people the wrong way.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is too is that because people are like, oh well, they're rolling back some of these changes. It's even if they are, it shows a willingness to want to do this in the first place, but also B, I don't even know if it was that much better before, right? We were already saying how it already sucked to begin with, and then they made it worse.
Because I don't know if this has been rolled back, but my understanding is it's an always online game, and so when the servers were down for a day, nobody could play, even though they were playing online.
And this corresponded to the update at the same time, and so people were oh man, the servers are down. Well, I guess I can still play offline. Wait, what? It's always online? So yeah, because the servers were offline for longer than they should have been. And then, but the real sort of story about this is that in response to this, people have figured out this idea, which is brilliant and something that I'm surprised we haven't heard of before, because both PlayStation and Xbox have had remote play for a while now.
Yeah.
Where you can broadcast it to your PC and play it on a controller on your PC. And of course, as soon as it's on a PC, you've got all sorts of hacking capabilities. Not necessarily hacking the game itself, because what you're getting is just the video of the game.
Yeah.
But you can, there's ways to emulate controllers and do all sorts of stuff like that. And so people have made an auto player for game. I guess I'm assuming your placement in the race doesn't have a big impact on how many credits you get. Because I'm assuming this auto player is not like a super sophisticated driving AI. It's more just put the pedal down and go.
Even if it did, let's say you do get significantly less credits, even if you hit second or last place.
Right.
If you can still make more by just having it running all the time while you're not around, as opposed to you having to do well for a couple of hours straight, it's still worth not having to do all the grinding.
So you heard it here first, folks. Gran Turismo 7 is wasting electricity and murdering the planet. Due to decisions they made when developing the game, the game is now doing this.
So it'll be interesting to see if this is a wide enough spread problem that they have to actually address it in the game and how they do that. I assume
if you could without turning off the
I'm assuming you can make some changes to make it so that unattended play is more difficult.
And if they did a thing where it's like, we're going to actually bump up the amount of credits you can, because you want to incentivize the behavior where it's like, we don't want people to have to do this in the first place, so we'll pay out more money per race. So, hey, now you don't have to do this anymore. People will be like, great, I can make money faster. I mean, once I made 20 million bells in Animal Crossing, I stopped screwing around with the stock market. So maybe once you make 200, 300 million Gran Turismo bells, you'll be like, I have made enough now. I don't have to do that shit anymore.
Once you get the currency to unlock what you need, there'd be no reason to actually continue doing that, right?
There's no market.
Yeah.
You can't trade currency to other people or anything. So it's like, it's one of those odd things where it's like, haha, I won. Now I don't have to play the game at all.
Yeah.
It's like, at some point, the objective is to play the game.
Yeah, but to actually play it with the things that you paid for in the first place.
And it's not to say that grinding in a game is necessarily bad. It has to do with the gameplay loop, right? And that feeling of, are you progressing enough? Do you actually feel like your time is worth it?
And I feel like it's because it is fascinating with games like this where you could set up almost exactly the same system, have all the same cars worth all the same amount of money, getting all the same amount of money per race or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you just sort of couched it differently, people will be totally fine. It's interesting the way you can it depends on how it's presented to the players, whether people kind of reject it or are like, this is fine.
That's why we call it spin.
Because the thing I remember from other racing games, and I've played very few in my life, but
spinning is important in a racing game.
Other racing games I've played where it's you start off with kind of a cool car that you get to race around in, right? Maybe a Ford Fiesta ST or something like that, right? Maybe it's something kind of entry level that's easy to get into, a Golf GTI or whatever. The attainable, fun hot hatch. But you race a few games with that, and once you've kind of dialed in that I can win firsts and seconds, and you kind of go through the circuit or whatever, you race that for a while. It's cool. We're unlocking a new circuit with larger cars, so you can get yourself a WRX STI, and you can do some of that for a while. More just to kind of be we want to gate the supercars behind maybe 10, 15 hours of gameplay, so that please play the game for a while, get good at the game, unlock the circuit, get better at driving, and then you can start piloting around these wicked, get into a Veyron or a Huracan or whatever you want to get into, and I'm that's what I kind of thought you would go for with every racing game. To hear that it's you'll always be in a Honda Fit unless you're willing to play enough to buy a 30 million credit supercar, and I'm that sounds like pain.
What was the quote that Graham read from the guy? It was like...
It's saying that in GT7, I would like to have users enjoy lots of cars and races without microtransactions. And it's like, dude, you're making the game. You have that power.
At the same time, the pricing of cars is an important element that conveys their value and rarity. So I don't think it's important if it's linked, or no, it's important to be linked with real world prices, which again, you don't have to link to real world currency.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if, if you've got, whatever, a Ferrari in there.
Yeah.
Part of the agreement is the Ferrari car can't be cheaper than the BMW or whatever. Exactly. There's probably all sorts of things being like, well, we don't want our car to be the cheap car.
Yeah. There's a level of value that we have to communicate.
Like games used to just be you gain currency from the game by playing and doing whatever. You can't pay for it in any other way. You can't actually acquire it in any other way. Yep. And certain cards or things are going to cost more with that currency because they want you to, maybe it's the specialer car or whatever.
Also,
and like you don't need real world money to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, also this quote comes from the series producer, not the series director, if there is such a thing, or whoever the director of this game is specifically. If this is from the producer, who has been producer for the series, they are involved in the monetary side of this game in as much as the game itself being developed. They're also going to be interested in how much money they're making from this game as well. So I'm sure that from their perspective, they're like, I would be very comfortable just giving these cars away if it wasn't for the fact that I want to also make money off of them. It's possible to read it that way, right?
Reminds me of the thing with the Microsoft Flight Simulator, the new one that came out. And there's this odd situation where, because of their licensing deals, the licensed airplanes couldn't be shown to get damaged.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were either invincible or they would just disappear if they crash into a thing.
No explosions or anything, just gone.
Yeah.
Because we can't have really nice photorealistic footage of our planes blowing up.
It's just in order to get the access to get the photorealistic stuff of the plane, they had to agree to not show the plane damaged.
I hear they have that EA was going for the same agreement with FIFA. You can't show the players just exploding. You just have to make them disappear off the field.
To be honest, I think I would be more interested in playing the car that just pops out of existence when it crashes.
It should make that sound.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But that would take away half the fun of the Le Mans,
right?
The Le Mans thing of which is going to go first, the tires or the windshield wipers or
Instead, you can drive through invisible buses.
See, in that case, what I would want is Ian to play a car that he doesn't know that's a thing and have it pop out of existence.
While he's driving it, it's just you just have hands there instead.
And then
the return of a fan favorite.
Is it though?
I had to dig up my the graphic that I had made previously.
Yeah.
For CheckPoint.
A decidedly non-horny graphic too. I'm very impressed that we didn't try to do anything.
We got time to change that.
Yeah, we could have the arrow sitting in a butt or something. Spinning in a butt.
I'll get right on that.
Put a flared base on the arrow just to be safe. People will complain.
Bare butt boxing, which to be honest, as this is not. I don't think it's coming out for maybe later this year or even next year. But to be honest, it looks like a kind of an awesome game for CTS. It looks like it's basically it's like boxing, but it's like gang beasts combined with something, I don't know.
It's
boxing
very
gloves and no pants.
We talked about it being in that realm of alien sport. which
right,
is
like drink more glurp.
Yeah, push me, pull you, whatever the.
Which, by the way, the VOD for Drink More Glurp just went up. So if you missed that on Twitch, you can go to the YouTube one.
It is. Don't be drinking things while you're watching it. You might hurt your computer. It was very funny.
But it basically is just, this is a game where you're gonna punch a lot of your friends and there are butts.
The bare butt didn't seem to actually directly affect the boxing aspect.
That's the thing. When
me.
I heard the name, I actually thought this was going to be a thing where everybody's avatars would be backwards to each other, and the butt would be like boxing or something. Sumo. I don't know. It just
like arms, except butts.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, Nintendo's arms, but butts.
It's just like in brackets underneath.
Yeah,
arms, but butts. And then I don't know if anybody's playing Oubliettes, but if you are, don't try to sell a beach ball in the thing.
in the way that you do it.
This basically comes from they made a tweet the night before we did CheckPoint that said that they needed to implement anti-beach ball code.
Yeah,
which
please
on the Mac means something different. But in gaming is like, we're like, what the hell does anti-beach ball code mean?
I don't think it plays on Mac. I'm pretty sure it's an Epic Store exclusive right now.
And it's like a pre
early access.
It's been early access for like a while.
I don't think it's hit 1.0, but I actually don't know. It's one of those games that I've seen so much for a while, but I'm kind of hoping ends up on a platform that I wanna actually play on, like a Switch or something, and so.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's a shame that people have forgotten about the game called Oubliettes.
Oubliettes, yeah.
There's
that's
dance
a French
fights.
joke, everybody. If you don't speak French,
you can have them do dance offs.
Oh, you can also have. They also like fight each other for real.
Yes.
Not dance fighting, just actual fighting.
You do dance fights.
Oublier is the French verb to forget. So oubliettes,
like an oubliette.
Like an oubliette, yeah.
All right, let's look at some other stories that we didn't talk about.
Oh my god.
I forgot about that one.
Oh my god.
So,
eager to impress people and other shareholders.
Eager to try and say that they're not dead.
So yeah, we've talked about Amico a few times now. In non-good terms, they were doing the crowdfunding thing, and then they shut down the crowdfunding thing, and it was like part of the filing, the SEC filing for the crowdfunding thing was like, if we don't get this money, we're gone in 6 months or 3 months or something very soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's apparently a functioning thing.
Sure.
And they did an unboxing.
In like what looks like a retail box too, right?
With a retail box and everything.
Yeah.
To show it off. They did a demo of it connected to a TV and running games. Although the UI on the TV definitely looked not finished. Like there were no icons there's a lot of like generic icons on everything and stuff. But
the Amico is, well, I mean, yeah, you can show me pictures and everything as much as you want, but until I see one in a store somewhere or hooked up to someone's TV that I know personally, I don't believe this thing exists.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of a fair assumption, like a fair impression to roll on.
I do like the logo of the name Amico. I like the swoopy letters.
Yeah.
So apparently, a copy of this video was sent to those with direct pre-orders within television, along with a message from the CEO reiterating that the company is in negotiations with potential investors / acquirers. And that during this process, we will continue to push forward with Amico. The video message does not establish a timeline for release, nor does the unboxing demonstrate that meaningful mass production is underway. This is Nintendo Life editorial. But
also,
yes.
the box they show is EU packaging, but inside is a North American adapter. And if you go to the website to try to buy it, you can't, like, when you go to their online store, despite being on an EU unit, it requests the US standard of state and zip code when signing in. Which I fucking love when I'm doing e-commerce. But, yeah.
So wait,
yeah,
they sent this out to people who pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to just sort of, I guess, basically to be like, yes, it does exist.
Are you able to cancel your pre-orders, or this is the thing you're like really locked into? Because I feel like this is an attempt to be like, please don't cancel your pre-orders.
I feel like this is very Soulja Boy console. It's just like, this is just what's happening now. Like, you are locked in, and maybe someday you'll get one, or we'll need more money.
I mean, they definitely need more money.
Yeah,
they've made that very clear.
Yeah.
I like, but no, I like they literally have made that clear. They asked for investment.
Yeah.
I like we're talking to potential investors / acquirers, which is like, I guess an acquirer is really just an investor who invests more than 50%.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, this is a cool game, or a game that looks pretty neat, called Haunted House Renovator. Haunted House, not hunted. Haunted House Renovator.
So you are renovating houses for ghosts?
See, I was disappointed in that. It's
That's not what happens?
No, you are renovating a haunted house to like sell. So you have to chase the evil spirits away and stuff.
So I'm not helping potential ghosts find a house and helping them have a thing that they would actually like. Oh.
Renovating a house for ghosts would be more entertaining, I think.
Like, that's what I'd want.
This is literally going to be on HGTV at some point. Like, this is literally...
It's like a combination of like 3 different HGTV shows.
Right.
It probably already is.
Like House Flipper and
Ghost Hunter.
And
it's just like the idea of, hey, so we bought this abandoned property that no one will live in, and now we're gonna reno and flip the house and also chase away all the evil spirits.
I feel like that's probably already like an SNL sketch somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's this is article on Nintendo Life.
Key art.
But yeah, you can see it looks
terrifying.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of like Phasmophobia, in terms of like you have to hide out and do things. So it's like Phasmophobia in the sense they have to like, putting holy water around or drawing elaborate magical circles for sinister rituals.
Wait. It says you could also just hide a door that's to the haunted cellar and basically create a safe-looking decor. Like, you're trying to trick people into buying the haunted house. You don't necessarily have to get rid of the ghosts. That's a selling feature, honestly. Ghosts in your house. Already got roommates, and they're going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
And give you ghost dollars, which there's probably an exchange rate.
This is the prequel to a lot of horror movies where somebody is like moves into a new house. You're like, this is great, but like, oh, what's this wall is weird, and they hit the thing, and it's like, oh, there's a door here, and they open it up, and then everyone gets murdered, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You get to participate by setting that up for people.
Yeah, it's like this house just came on the market. It's a steal. You just have to not open this door ever.
Yeah.
Should we have like a lock on the door? No. We'll just put a chair in front of it.
All I'm saying is, if you're hanging out with the bad kinds of ghosts, you should look for some different ghost friends.
You're saying that most like horror movies are really the problem is not the ghost. It's just that those particular ghosts are toxic ghosts.
You're on the internet and you find all of those places where a lot of people are yelling and everything, and it turns out they're a small minority of the internet.
Yeah. Nobody makes Nobody makes movies about all the happy relationships people have with ghosts.
No, of course not.
CD Projekt Red has started talking about the next Witcher game. Witcher 4, presumably.
Did they make a 4th Witcher book? Because 3's based off the book, right?
The Witcher series is based off a series of books. I'm not sure how closely the games hew to the books. And then, obviously, the TV series is its own thing as well. But one of the things is that they will apparently be using Unreal Engine for the next game, not as opposed to their like in-house engine that they've been using for the last couple Witcher games, which is interesting because of course Unreal is made by Epic.
They take place after the books. Okay.
Unreal is made by Epic, and theoretically the Epic store and like GOG, which is CD Projekt Red store, are sort of in competition with each other. So there's like, it's a problem with these big companies that have all these different aspects to them. You end up with weird competition things, but presumably they've worked that out, or they don't consider that to be much of an issue. So obviously there isn't actually much info about it. Hopefully, maybe using Unreal Engine will make it so they don't have to have as much crunch, or at least talk about having as much crunch.
It's interesting too, right? Because it's like we're gonna use an engine that already exists. I'm like, that's no reason to think that would be the main thing holding up the development of your game, I would assume.
Well, it means they don't have to make a new engine.
If they were thinking they had to, yeah.
That can be helpful.
Yeah, but they might still have to develop like toolkits and stuff.
Also, we know at least that the Unreal Engine can run well on.
True, actually, that's a good point.
On modern hardware.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, apparently Cyberpunk is like fine now, but it's taken a long time to get to that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're making a new Witcher game, and if you're not burnt out on the company, then good for you.
Yeah, get cautiously optimistic.
God, I can't believe this. I don't think this is real? I don't think this is real. It's too dumb to be real.
So the story story based on a post on Reddit. So yeah.
Specifically from r/am I the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this person is saying they're recently married, and his wife really loves farming simulation games, especially like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley. But he's gotten jealous of the relationships that she has in those games.
Yeah. Can I just read the thing?
Without ever saying the word jealous, I think, in the initial complaint, it's just like, I feel that I expect her to commit to me alone and not these virtual husbands. I'm like, the word jealous never shows up.
That's the thing. I just married this woman, and I intend on us being a committed couple.
What a great start.
It's such a red flag.
I've never said that sentence in my life.
Also, I tolerated her love of farming simulation games like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley. But now that we're married, I expect her to... It's like...
commit to be alone and not these virtual husbands.
It's like I tolerated her love of farming games. Like, that was like a negative.
Because I knew I was in competition with these guys, but I knew I'd eventually win out.
And that's why I don't think this can be real, because I'm like, if you were grumbling about it the entire time, I don't understand why she married you.
Yeah.
And then, while she was at work, I put up her old Harvest Moon GameCube and GBA games up on eBay. I intend on giving her the money after they sell. I'm also going to sit her down and make her uninstall Stardew Valley. And I'm like, you're not going to be married for very long, are you? I would fucking divorce.
I would also
I would get my marriage annulled. Like, no.
Also, I'm pretty sure that's because he doesn't know how to uninstall a Steam game.
Yeah.
Like, clearly he would just get rid of it if he could, because he sold the other one.
This is the kind of thing where I'm like, if dude flips those games and he's like, I'm gonna give her the money for them, whatever, and she, this whole thing falls apart and she needs to get her games back, like, I would be very tempted to be like, I have 3 Harvest Moon games for GameCube. I would be more than happy to just give to you while you start your new life without this jackass.
Yeah, no, like, I can't believe that this kind of jealousy exists to a point that they got married and now he's just going to put her stuff up for sale and then try to sit her down to uninstall a digital game. I'm like, no, there's no way you got to the point of marriage.
Now, there's you and I were talking about this, I did a devil's advocate thing because I was trying,
don't do
and
that
I know you
again,
don't like
please.
the thing, but
So dumb.
when I got thinking about it, I'm like, there's that very real thing of if you're trying to establish emotional intimacy with your partner, but they're taking that somewhere else, and that's introducing a problem into your relationship. That's not, I'll sell your games. That's, we should maybe seek some counseling. And if you knew, but this doesn't sound like that's what's going on. It's not like she's going to her virtual husbands and being like, I talk to them all the time, and I interact with the algorithm in order to have the kind of emotional intimacy I'm not getting from my partner. It's like, that doesn't sound like what's going on here. But that can be a thing, but I don't think this is the case.
Again, devil doesn't need an advocate.
No, definitely.
Probably, entirely possible it's fake, but it's fun to clown on this person anyway.
Yeah.
The post got deleted, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Because I believe everyone just piled on them. It's also not the worst Am I the Asshole I've read.
Speaking of silly things in games.
What? What is this?
So, the new a new operator, which is the name of like the characters in a the characters in some of the
in like Vanguard and Warzone, it's
Vanguard
like an
and
avatar.
Warzone.
You play as this character.
Is the new operator is going to be Snoop Dogg. And not, to be clear, it's not going to be voiced by Snoop Dogg.
Ah.
The new operator is actually going to be Snoop Dogg, the rapper. But it's like everybody else is like a military commando, like of various kinds. And it's like Snoop Dogg, cool guy, not somebody I would necessarily want to like go into like military situation with. I feel like he would not be. His extensive skill in making fat beats and rapping would not be like the most useful thing for that.
I mean, he probably might be fine though, because he, when it comes to a war zone, it is quite loud, and I know he has an interest in loud.
Now, it says
I had to walk so far for that,
but it's like this is going to be coming out. He says, so this is going to be added to Vanguard and Warzone as well as Call of Duty Mobile as a playable character next month, which is April.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, so it's just like 6 days from now.
It's right around the corner.
So it's like, so you could it's like, then it's like an April Fool's thing maybe, except you're not supposed to like announce an April Fool's thing in March, being like, there's something funny that's going to happen next month.
Yeah.
That kind of defeats the purpose of the whole operation.
Oh, but also it could be a 420 thing. That's really good Earthen One. That could be when they bring it out. I could totally see that. But I like the idea of it being like it's an April Fool's gag, but it's like what we've seen with April Fool's gags, where it's like, but this is a real thing and it's actually playable and you can play as in unicorn mode or whatever, right? And it's like, but we're gonna leave that in the game because it's actually kind of awesome. And I'm like, this is maybe the same thing where it's like we're having a goof, but we're having a goof that will be fun, that you can do for a long time. Maybe that's the impression they're trying to do here.
So he is going to be joining Call of Duty Mobile as part of a special lucky draw starting April 1st.
That sounds like a gotcha system.
Yeah,
because it's a mobile game. But then the Snoop Dogg Operator Bundle will go live on April 19th in Warzone and Vanguard. Apparently, those are two different Snoop Dogg things that are happening.
All right.
This is not actually totally unprecedented. He did actually do a voice in Call of Duty Ghost. He was an unlockable voice. So like, there is some precedent for him being involved with the thing. So anyway, yeah.
And it's going to cost money, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the price has not yet been revealed because it will be like a DLC thing.
I'm sure you can get them for $20.
But like, yeah, apparently $20 might be the amount in comparison to previous ones. But yeah, so just it's sort of like, we've talked about it in Fortnite a few times, where they have like, it's like you can play as Batman or Iron Man, or this like cartoon banana, or like an actual real life football player, or an actual real life basketball player, and it's like that's just the guy. It's not like some weird.
Look at all these fictional characters. That's a real dude. Are you sure?
I don't know. They're on TV.
I've seen them on TV only.
Pretty
like
sure
I never seen them in real life.
Pretty sure I'm fictional.
Yeah, my substitute teacher.
I mean, I know he's not real.
No.
I'm surprised that there's no. Maybe there's an update to this story, but
it seems like the kind of story that should have an update.
Yeah. So there's been some problems in the Destiny community last week where there've been copyright takedowns on music videos. But the weird thing is that this has actually so more and more videos that have like the Destiny soundtrack in it.
Oh, okay.
Are being taken down.
Maybe there were music videos where they were using Destiny footage to supplement or something. But you mean their music?
Yeah. Because of course content kind of churns in Destiny, right? So sometimes old stuff isn't available anymore. But the odd part is that Bungie's own videos have also started to also got copyright struck. Started taken down. They released a statement being like, we are aware of a series of copyright takedowns on YouTube and we're actively investigating. This includes content on our own Bungie channels. These actions are not being taken at the request of Bungie or our partners.
Wait,
Please.
That means there's somebody pretending to be them taking...
Well, they have an affiliate partner that people are saying, we think it's them, and we think it's CSC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we have, like, a number of different channels for Loading Red Dawn stuff, right? And so if we cross-post content, or we used to get this because we do CheckPoint as part of, like, the after show and stuff. In one channel... because our content shows up in another channel, I could technically copyright strike our other channels.
And if you've got some sort of automated system going, it could kind of get out of control.
Yeah.
So anyway, But
there are also a lot of like third-party companies that will try to take stuff down as part of because they're helping a different group, but there are also people who make third-party companies that claim that they have rights to things that they don't to try and take things down.
Right,
They generally wouldn't go after something like Bungie.
But yeah, I mean, we've been
too big a target.
We've been hit lots of times by people who are like, these free to use Apple loops are actually our copyrighted material.
Foxmore says that Bungie posted about this yesterday, and Google's banned the account that was doing the false claims.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it might not be their affiliate partner.
YouTube is a mess for the idea of like who can claim things and counterclaiming and other stuff. I mean, YouTube's a mess for a bunch of other reasons too, but the copyright stuff is not great.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the stuff. There was a couple stories that you posted in.
That might be it might just because they happen so late that we might have to.
With a target, the balls outside the target, the stone pillars are covered in Kirby's. Apparently, we don't have target anymore, so I can't go investigate.
Yeah, we did not. I guess we didn't treat our target good enough, and
it was.
That's not our fault.
Yeah,
that's not our fault.
There is if you're ever curious...
Target just wanted to be our friends, and we rejected them. If
you're ever curious why Target failed in Canada, there's actually an amazing article online. I read it, though, like years ago, about it was a year after Target failed that somebody had done this massive write-up And it's very, very long articles. So if you go searching for why did Target fail in Canada, and it's a short article, and keep looking until you find a really long one. But it gets in depth to all the ways they screwed up. All the ways they screwed up.
Why did Target fail?
Yeah.
Let me count the ways.
The Kirby game went out today, so I'm assuming it's like today that those hit. This is not part of current Kirby. This is 20th anniversary Kirby.
So here's the thing we don't know what to make of. And this happened, this was posted March 22nd at like 12 a.m. So that's like a few days ago, but it only started to make its way around the internet recently, because this is published on CoinDesk. This is a crypto story. Cryptocurrency exchange FTX has acquired Good Luck Games, developer of the upcoming card battle game Storybook Brawl, for an undisclosed amount. Good Luck Games will be integrated into FTX Gaming following the acquisition. FTX made a gaming unit to encourage publishers to adopt cryptocurrencies.
Ask about this in the comments, yeah.
And so we're kind of like, what the F does that mean? And who knows? Because they bought Storybook Brawl, and FTX Gaming's thing is to encourage publishers to put cryptocurrencies into the game. I think as a means of purchase, maybe not as a means of generation. I don't think it's an idea of like we're going to put a coin generator, like a miner, into the game.
Yeah.
They want to encourage publishers to allow for you to buy shit by having Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, right?
And they've also, I believe they have also talked about NFT type stuff.
Yeah.
With either, I believe I saw the phrasing being possibly non-cosmetic uses for NFTs. so definitely cosmetics, possibly non-cosmetics, as in actual stuff that gives you a gameplay advantage.
Yeah. We don't know much about what's going on. Good Luck Games is apparently a 4-person studio based out of Olympia, Washington, and people were involved with Elder Scrolls Online and also with Magic the Gathering. We don't know. Yeah. I don't know who works for GLG. So there could be, could even be people we know. Right? Like, I have no idea.
What I find interesting about this is obviously the community is ranging from maybe this won't be terrible to this is definitely terrible. Like, nobody's positive about it.
Yeah.
Some people are like, maybe they'll just let them do their thing and leave it in peace. We can hope.
Yep.
Is like the best take, like the most optimistic take I've seen.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks it's going to be like a positive improvement, but
the world we live in is if you play a game that can get updated, specifically an online type game, at any moment everything can get ruined.
But what's interesting though is that like there's been a couple of, obviously we've talked about on CheckPoint and there's other ones of companies that have kind of started to dip their toe into the cryptocurrency NFT realm. You know, Team 17 talked about it. The guys behind Dead by Daylight.
Oh yeah,
we're talking about doing some NFT stuff. Obviously, Ubisoft has gone deep into it, but there's there's been a couple of situations where companies have kind of dipped their toe in. There's been a huge community backlash, and they pulled way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping the sharks will eat their toes.
But this is an interesting situation where the company is literally owned by a cryptocurrency. Like the game is owned, so it's not like the point of them buying the game is to use it to promote crypto stuff. So it's like they're not. I feel like they're not really going to pull back on it because there's no reason for them to own the company if not to do that.
Exactly.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's one of those stories that kind of came out on like Wednesday, I think. So we didn't really talk about it too much, but there were a lot of NFT talks at GDC. Yeah,
I bet there were.
Yeah. There were some. I mean, that's the thing when GDC happens. Sometimes I see some tweets I see tweets from people who are like, hey, we got this talk going on, and it's great. And it's from little devs I know or something, and I'm like, cool. And then the other tweets are generally like, so-and-so did this talk, and this is why it was not a good idea. And then you read, like, the first, like, the couple lines about it, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
It's indicative, though, that the people who did that talk didn't tell anybody that they were doing that talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have, GDC talk, like, how to add NFTs to your game without your community killing you.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see that talk.
It's like, if you know, please tell us.
Yeah.
The talk is just everyone, like, trying to brainstorm ways of doing it.
God damn it, guys, we gotta think of something. Nobody wants this shit, but we have to sell it to them. Otherwise, how am I gonna get rich?
It's like, can we? Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that it's like it was the progression. I mean, it's trying to push consumers to get more into this stuff, right? Because it's like the progression is like it used to be. Why can't we just buy games and then just have the game, pay $80 or $60 for the game, and then we just have the game rather than all this DLC stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're getting to the point with NFTs where it's like, just charge me for the DLC and just give me the DLC, not some token that gives me the DLC. And it's like...
Yeah, well, because
it's like, maybe that's the point, maybe that's the big benefit of NFTs, is that they're so bad that they make regular DLC look not so bad in comparison.
The Overton window is shifting on this.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's what gets determined as bad or evil or whatever has a shifting goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
That's why microtransactions, when they first came out, all of them were bad, and now it's, well, as long as they're just cosmetic, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, horse armor seems quaint now. Yeah. It's like, horse armor. That seems like a fine thing for people to do.
Yeah. I would rather just sell you some fucking coasters. Like, at this point, I'd rather just put some shit on some cork and sell it to you, and you get a thing, and we get money for it, and the transaction makes complete sense. It's commerce in its simplest form.
Yeah. No NFTs, SOCs. Shit on cork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, like, I know I've seen a couple of comments in the chat about this. It's like, I want to have a proper NFT conversation without getting shit on, because the technology itself is not necessarily evil, right?
Right.
But people range, but we also live in a society that's very capitalistic, and a lot of money drives a lot of things, and that's how you get a lot of things being bad right out the gate.
Just because almost every instance of it so far has been kind of a scam doesn't mean that it can't be used for something good.
Yeah.
Or something not scammy. But yeah. The technology itself is like fine. But it's,
though if we
it is what you make of
also it. If we make coasters, though, it's gonna be like they're not gonna be like bar cards, right? They're not gonna be like that. They're gonna be like they're gonna be well researched and put together. So I picked all these things for a reason, and they all make. We're gonna give you the Razer, Anaconda mouse of coasters with RGB lights and a fan and shit.
Okay, I can't say we necessarily give you the top of the line coaster, but we will not give you a coaster that we would not be willing to use.
This coaster is $150 and is 4,800 DPI.
I mean, if you want the cheap coasters, just buy some magic sleeves.
Yeah, right. I mean, we don't have any on our site. We're sold out, but yeah. No, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try to be as environmentally friendly as possible. Also, so.
RGB coasters. Yeah.
God, no, I'm not giving you guys plug-in coasters or battery-powered coasters.
No. You don't plug it in. There's a battery inside, but it's epoxied in, so it'll just it'll run out of battery after a while, and you have to buy a new one.
Yeah, that's great. I love that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna make coasters. I don't care how much you people want them.
Can
we'll decide later.
Can we make lure stress balls so I can have one to constantly
what I'm doing here is
drill down on?
Yeah.
I'm making whatever coasters you do end up with sound way better than what I'm suggesting.
Yeah. We could literally make lure stress balls that basically come in a case that have 3 tiny dots of the big triangle, and then the orb is just the stress ball.
Yeah.
And it's just a blue fucking racquetball.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind if we could get some fidget toys that work for being in Studio C, but aren't like clacky on the mic.
Yeah, that aren't. Yeah.
That's kind of been my issue. It's like a good fidget toy that doesn't make noise into the mic, so I can play with it.
I like it.
Yeah, use the lid from your CheckPoint mug box to make into a coaster. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
you go.
Cardboard,
that's
and when it gets stained, throw it, recycle it. Recycle it. If you have recycling in your area. Speaking of areas.
No.
Wait.
Can I have some tennis balls to throw at you?
Thanks everybody for watching. That's all the news that we had at the moment. But I'm sure there will be more news next week, probably. Unless something terrible happens. There will be probably news next week.
What happens if there is no news? Like,
I mean,
what kind of chill point does that entail?
I feel like
do we just start talking about games we've been playing?
I mean, that's fun too. But I feel like if literally, like, the only situation where that would happen is if there's some sort of catastrophic thing that happens to the video game industry, in which case that itself would be news. The fact that there is no news would be newsworthy.
Fair enough.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up next. Because what's coming up next is Friday Night Paper Fight.
Oh, good.
Going to be doing some Canadian Highlander.
In person on paper?
In person on and with paper.
Nice.
Going to be Serge, Wheeler, and Nelson going to be doing that Canlander North 100 type stuff.
Nice.
And then on Saturday,
Right.
Adam is going to be playing not Elden Ring. He's going to pull himself away from Elden Ring for long enough to play Returnal. He's going to return to Returnal.
Yeah, there's I think it's a 3.0 update with a bunch of new content. That was in the state of play.
I don't know if, like, he has to have Elden Ring open on, like, another window, just, like, legally. But anyway. Yeah, on Saturday, Adam is going to be playing Returnal.
I mean, he could. Returnal's on PS5, so he could have Elden Ring open on PC.
There you go. But then Saturday evening, it's going to be Loading Bay Live.
All right.
We don't know what's happening.
Something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we know. And then on Sunday, it's Elden Ring. We couldn't go for like 2 days without it. We have to play Elden Ring.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure they can't go more than 2 days without Elden Ring.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, despite them both being like, we're just gonna play it with each other on Play It Forward, they're both playing it on their home streams now.
Yeah, but they're far enough into the game that I don't think they're like gonna accidentally over.
Right.
I just mean that, like, the apparently just playing it on Play It Forward was not enough Elden Ring.
It happens. Sometimes you really think it'll be fine, and then it turns out games are good.
That does happen sometimes. Speaking of good games, Musical Story.
Yep. We have 6 more songs to star, I think, and then we get that other ending.
You're like 100%ing them?
Yes. This
Man.
is how much we like this game. We almost never do this on a game.
Yeah.
It has the.
I'm impressed by your skill level allows you to do that too. You're
It's
kicking ass.
It's also the benefit of this is that it's also telling more of a different path of the story.
Well, only if we actually get everything perfect.
Right.
It doesn't open up anything new otherwise.
Okay.
But it helps that you and I pass the controller back and forth between, because then you get a chance to kind of watch and not have to play.
Do you alternate
on failures
songs or alternate on
failures?
Oh, okay. Interesting. So you both are trying. You're alternating trying the same song.
We'll go twice in a row if like we mess up in the first section really fast. Sometimes because it just doesn't feel like you had a proper chance.
Yeah, sure.
We're pretty good at sharing.
Nice. And speaking of sharing, Wheeler's going to be on Is This Your Card on Sunday night. Legends of Runeterra, and I believe he's going to be sharing with Nelson. I think Nelson's going to be joining him on that stream because he is also a Legends of Runeterra fan. And then on Monday, Can't Draw Horses Club with Corey and somebody.
Not sure who this
who the guest is this week.
And then Jackbox Party Pack on Cross the Streams.
Rad.
So, lots of cool stuff coming up. loadingmayrun.com/live is the place to go to see the full schedule. And all the stuff on the Google Calendar and all that stuff. Now let's thank the awesome people who subscribed during this stream.
For example,
Bronzefinger for 95 months. Thank you very much.
Ryzok with the big 97 months.
Lenthus with that 60-month anniversary. Woo!
The Hakofo for 65 months.
I'm actually just going to point out Iris of Ether for 28 months. We did get your box and we did open it.
That's true.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah. Ravs the Wolf has been gifted a sub by Evelyn's. Congrats on the new runner.
Thanks, Evelyn.
Just snuck in there.
Born March 21st.
There was a child that was born a few days ago.
Yay!
Congratulations. I'm glad that is a healthy delivery.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching and joining us. And we'll be back with Friday Night Paper Fight in about an hour and a half. But until then, talk to you later.
Hello.
Did you say bye-lo?
Yes.
Hello.
Shut up.
Hello. Sell high.